The following podcast contains coarse language and adult themes. This week on the show, Addie, you will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards. They will race behind you. They will stumble. They will fall. But in time, they will join you in the podcast. I'm Reegs.
I will find him!
Fucking hell! Oh no, it's Michael Shannon, and this is the Film Addicts podcast. I don't know why I did it like that. I sounded like the announcer guy from fucking Super Friends, you know? And back at the Hall of Terror or whatever the fuck he used to say, you know? Hey friends, and welcome back to the Film Addicts podcast, episode 69. I was such a fucking child. My goodness. That's just, it's funny to me. It's funny to me. It's episode 69. We're talking about Henry Cavill.
That's, oh my fucking God.
He would love that joke. He would love it.
He would. It just dawned on me. So we're talking about Henry Cavill.
Yeah. And it's episode 69. Childish. Anyway, let's just go a little bit more highbrow. We're talking about Man of Steel because we've got the new Supermans coming out. It can't be stopped. I'm seeing it everywhere. I can't leave my house without someone telling me about the new Superman film. I was on the telephone to my mother today and she was like, you know, the new superhero movie's coming out. I'm like, Superman, Mum? She's like, yeah, have you seen it? I'm like, no, it's not out yet. Do you think it'll be good? I'm like, I don't know, Mum. I love you, but I don't know. And this is a woman who, when prompted on my 7th birthday to please, Mum, when you make me a cake for my birthday, can you draw with icing on it Superman fighting a dinosaur with a volcano erupting in the background? And the bitch did it.
Holy shit.
And it looked amazing. And yet she didn't know who Superman was. Anyway, it's Man of Steel. We're talking about it because it's good cross-promotion. But before all that, what's up, dog?
Woof. Sorry.
That's okay.
I don't know.
What's been happening?
Yeah, I went to the cinema last week. It's gone really fucking loud with the rain. So I apologize for that.
That's all right. If anyone can hear the rain, just have a nap because it's really lovely to have a nap to the sound of the rain. Yeah. What did you? Do you want to talk about what you went and saw at the cinema in? What are we watching?
Yeah, I will. But before that, I started a little. Well, not me individually, but my friend group started a movie club. So every week we're gonna get on a call and talk about a film. And so the first pick was Pacific Rim, which I will talk about. And then I picked, and so this weekend we're going to talk about that. That was fun because I haven't done that with them ever.
That's so cool. You've seen Pacific Rim before though, yeah?
Nope.
You hadn't?
I hadn't.
Oh, GDT, man. It's fucking great. I mean, there's no one in that movie apart from Idris Elba can act. But it's giant robots fighting giant monsters. What do you want?
That's true. Other than that, nothing of note. Shit! I started another D&D campaign with my friends.
You started another one?
Yep.
Geez, you got D&D campaigns, you got film clubs going on. When do you sleep?
Well, that's the interesting part. I don't.
Yeah, right. Upside down like a bat.
How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm dandy. Nothing of note, really. Just same old kind of stuff. Prepping a couple of new music video projects. One will be pretty cool. We're going to be filming it on some fucking cliffs down here cool. in Melbourne, which will be cool. Shooting day for night stuff. I've got another one at the end of this month with a bunch of young guys from who's come through the studio, and they're going to be dressing up as clergymen and skateboarding through the city causing a ruckus, and we're going to guerrilla shoot the shit out of it.
That's awesome. And you look fucking great, man.
I look great, It's cold up in my office, so I've got the hoodie on and shitting. But thanks. I appreciate that. Shall we get into our segments and talk about some things we'll be watching? Because I watched a couple of cool things.
Yes. Let's do what are we watching?
Damn it, you're fucking just going right in now. I'm not even going to do the intro. That's the intro.
Oh,
Addy
what?
did it already. He ruined it for everybody. What have we been watching? What is it? What are the ones? I want to hear about what you saw at the cinema. So you go.
Oh, shit. Okay. While you were doing the intro, I opened up Google and I was looking at if Man of Steel is a sex position, because that would be cool. Because this is episode 69.
Hang on. Wait. All that happened too fast. Can you go back? Can you go back a step? You while I was doing the intro to the show, you looked up whether or not Man of Steel was a sex position, and it's not.
Unfortunately, it isn't. But hey, by the end of it, by the end of this episode, I might come up with something.
Okay, well, that's the task for the thing. At the end of the episode, we have to come up with the Man of Steel, which is the sex position. That's like our final thing before we do questions, okay?
Yes.
It's like top 3 favorite moments, and then what's the sex position? It's basically when you give someone a mouth job and there's buildings falling down behind you. It's where you suck someone so hard that you give them hope.
What the fuck?
That's true. That's what it is.
It's when you blow Matt Murdock so hard he can see.
That's the She-Hulk, mate. Fucking hell.
It's when you blow Professor Hulk so hard that his foreskin falls off, and then it's just a green dick. Oh
just
no!
A big
green
just
foreskin falls
dick.
off. Yeah.
Yeah. And underneath is a pink dick. So wait, the foreskin's been green this whole time in your head?
Yeah.
We did that 3 years ago. Like I meant the whole thing's pink, not just the tip, not like a dog's dick where it's just the tip is the color.
What? No, this is Revelations.
We're in the weeds here. As esoteric as this bit is already, for anybody who doesn't understand, we did an episode. Was it the Moon Knight episode?
It was either the Moon Knight or
Doctor Strange.
The Doctor Strange one. It was.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think it was the Moon Knight episode, and then it was Doctor Strange because Doctor Strange was the flying dicks.
That's right. There's been a lot of penis gags going along. But yeah, back, I think it was season 1 or 2, and we were talking about that series, and we talked about how the Hulk, made the perfect version of himself, except he'd have a huge dick, so why he couldn't have sex with women. So he would go to Reed Richards and have a normal man's pink penis attached to his huge green body. And apparently this whole time, Addie thought I meant that the penis was normal size, but it still was green because it had foreskin. And underneath, the head of it was pink.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying? You thought I meant?
No, I thought you meant it was a green foreskin, and then when you pulled it back, it was a pink dick.
No, just the whole dick is pink, just for future reference when we're talking about it again. What the fuck are we doing with our lives? This is beyond bizarre, and it's on the internet. It's on the internet forever. This is the worst biology lesson ever. Don't listen to this, kids. Actually, don't listen to this, kids. What the fuck were we talking about? It's what you were going to tell me what you went and saw at the cinema. Christ. Okay. We've been recording for 10 minutes and we haven't talked about anything.
We talked about how Man of Steel is unfortunately not sex
a
position.
sex position. It fucking will be. Don't worry about it.
I'm going to start with the bad one, which is Pacific Rim.
You didn't like it?
I did not like it. There's no sense of scale in that movie.
Scale?
Yeah. It's very much Star Trek by J.J. Abrams. Like that kind of visual language. Or no, actually, better example, Michael Bay. Like the Transformers movies.
I beg to differ. I think it's far more deft than that. Like those movies are a fucking scattershot as hell. At least GDT knows where to put the camera.
Does he in this one?
Yeah, he does. He puts it like low angle, looking up at it as up at the robot as it picks up a boat to use as a bat.
That's the only low angle shot, and you still can't tell the sense of scale.
Okay, I haven't seen it in a little while, so maybe I'll rewatch it and we'll report back.
The thing is, I was okay with like the fucking over exaggerated plot of it, because it's fucking monsters, kaijus, and Jaegers of all things. What do you call them, Jaegers? I didn't like the creature designs, and I didn't like most of it. The only thing I liked was like when they go into the core. That's a 30-second shot. And I've been told not to watch the second one because it's dog shit. I watched The Phoenician Scheme twice in theaters.
What is it? Sorry? The
Phoenician Scheme by Wes Anderson.
Oh, is that how it's pronounced?
Yep. That's just how I pronounce it. Every time I watch a Wes Anderson film, a new one at least, I have to watch it twice. Because the first time, I am too distracted by the bright colors. I watched it, it was great, and then I watched it a second time, and it was really emotional story. Like this is the one where he's like, this is a comedy, but you watch it the second time, and this man is he just wants to hang out with his daughter. And it is, the third act is, I'm going to spoil a bit of it, but it's no context. Right, it's Benicio del Toro and Benedict Cumberbatch, like physically fighting with like Jackie Chan style. And Benedict Cumberbatch has a big bushy fake beard. And then I rewatched Thunderbolts, which will forever be a special one.
I like that movie a lot. See our episode on it from earlier in the season.
But the one that hasn't left my mind at all is 28 years later. I talked to you about it, and you said that you probably not watch it because of just, these films not being about the zombies and being about the horrible humanity that comes out of crisis situations. But it's not what the trailer looks like. Like, it would definitely be a 5-star if it didn't have the horrible... I think Alex Garland does this on purpose to just fucking piss me off. Where
particularly?
Yes, me particularly. Yeah. Where I'm so invested and like so emotionally moved, and then the ending just has to be something just fucking out of nowhere. But yet, looking into it and like why that ending is present, it makes a lot of sense. But it's just, it's a really good coming of age story in this weird world that they've established. And it gets even weirder with this one. And Ralph Fiennes is like, this is one of his most interesting roles ever. Season 4 of The Bear is fucking incredible. It is everything I wanted season 3 to be. I think I was overly critical about season 3, and I went back and rewatched the entire show leading up to season 4, and then I appreciated season 3 a lot more. There's one episode in season 3 where there's no dialogue, and it's only just ethereal music. It's fucking insane.
I haven't seen any of that show. Everyone keeps telling me to.
I think you'll really like it. I still haven't stopped thinking about just how incredibly well written that show is. Like singular character episodes as well, where you follow just one character for an entire episode.
All right, well, I'll go and check it out before I see half of its cast in Fantastic Four and other Marvel projects. Excellent. Well, I watched a couple of things. One, I'm watching at the moment with Emilie, Tucci in Italy, which is Stanley Tucci's documentary about Italy and food and that place as a region. And he is genuinely just a sweetheart, and I love him. He's so camp. Like, I know he has a wife and he's in a heterosexual relationship. Doesn't necessarily mean he's straight. I don't know one way or another, but he presents as quite camp. But he's a fucking delight, and it'll cheer you right the fuck up if you want to feel good about people, which is hard to do these days. The other thing me and Emily watched yesterday, we went to a retro screening of Mary Poppins, and it was a fucking delight. It was the first time I've seen it at the cinema, and I noticed all these gags and bits and pieces that I'd never noticed before, just because it was the biggest screen and the music and all that stuff. It was just... That film is so much funnier than people give it credit for. Like, I know there's funny things happen and you look at funny things or whatever, but the dialogue is hysterical. There's one part where they're talking, there's a very big beginning, and it's Mrs. Banks and Mr. Banks, and Katie Nanna's just stormed out because the kids are shit heaps. And and they're having an argument about it, and she's like, oh, she seems so stern. I thought that she would be good at the job. And he's like, Winifred, do not confuse a liver complaint with productivity. And I was like, that's so good. Or where he's on the phone it's one of those ringing phones like this. Looks like I'm doing something else, but and he's like, yes, give me the police, please. I want the police here, and my children are missing, and blah, 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 and whatever. And send an officer around right now. And there's a knock at the door, and Winifred opens, and she goes, Charles, it's the police. And he goes, oh, wow, how very prompt. Wonderful service. Like, it's so sweet and so funny. And you know, Julie Andrews is a revelation. Like, the woman is untouchable, you know, just makes it look effortless. I cannot hear Feed the Birds without crying. Like, it's just, if you have a heart in your, if you like, I don't mean the organ that pumps blood, but if you have the part of you, you know, your spirit, the deepest part of you, can't be moved by that. I don't know what to fucking do with you, honestly. And the other things I watched were Dark City, the Alex Proyas film, also written by David Goyer, who wrote Man of Steel. And I watched the director's cut, which is really interesting. It removes the voiceover at the beginning and adds in different bits and pieces and kind of makes the mystery about the lead protagonist, Rufus Sewell's character, like, he makes him even more mysterious. Like, you don't know if maybe he actually was this murderer. And it's a fucking banger. Like, it's the best movie Alex Proyas ever made. Even like, I love The Crow. I like The Crow more, but Dark City is a better executed picture. And the director's cut is really the one that you should seek out, because there's no hands on it. And there's absolutely no fucking way that a major studio would would sign off on making a film like that now. A high concept science fiction noir film with no cast, in absolutely no way that would happen. You know, he got a blank check because he made The Crow, and that's how that works. So it's really cool. And the other thing I watched is question?
Wait, yeah, I have a question. What do you mean no cast?
There's Rufus Sewell was completely unknown at the time. Kiefer Sutherland, this is in the 90s after his popular boom, you know, sort of Young Guns era. He didn't become popular again until 24. Jennifer Connelly was still doing, you know, bit parts after being successful, you know, Fast Times at Ridgemont High and The Labyrinth and that sort of, you know, the sex bomb kind of roles. This was a proper femme fatale role for her. It was, and Alex Proyas had made one successful film. David Goyer had made Zigzag. Blade hadn't even come out yet. Like, yeah, it was a real swing, and there's no way they would do that now that isn't interconnected with a bunch of other shit. So yeah, it's well worth your time. And I watched the extended cut of The Punisher from 2004. It was kind of maligned at the time. I don't think people got it. The budget was slashed a few days before shooting, so they had to do it, you know, really quickly and stuff. But it's a fucking good movie. It's well paced. He's an awesome action writer. He's an awesome action director. It's a pretty decent transplant from the Garth Ennis series, Welcome Back, Frank. Thomas Jane's like total pitch perfect Frank. He's monosyllabic as fuck. He's driven, and he's got the physique and just the vibe of it. It works really well. The story is really good, and the extended cut's great. It's got all this sort of internal stuff going on with the corruption that caused Frank's family to be killed, and it's a nice spin on the original idea of the Punisher, you know, his family being killed in New York, you know, city by mafia. Well, it's, you know, he accidentally kills, I'm not spoilers here because it happens in the first 5 minutes. He accidentally kills the son of a huge mob guy on a sting operation, and they find out who he was and go after him, and they kill his entire family in Puerto Rico when they're on sort of a family holiday after he's retired. And it's a kind of filmmaking they don't do anymore. It's this really classical, the way that Jonathan Hensley talks about it, like Sergio Leone, Sam Peckinpah sort of style of just like getting things in camera. There's almost no CG in that film at all. I would say maybe some fire effects, and that's about it. But all the explosions, all the gunshots are all squibs. Like, it's proper stunts. There's a really great making of on YouTube called The War Journal about them trying to get this thing done in 50 days. And yeah, it's well worth your time to go back. Even just the theatrical cut is good to watch and appreciate as a standalone piece, because now every time you see anything, it's connected to 6 other fucking things. And as good as John Bernthal is, like, the Punisher that they're writing he communicates way too well for the kind of damage that's been done to him. And he takes it to 11 as well. Like, Thomas Jane is really internal. It's a beautiful performance.
I want to ask, who's your favorite Punisher then?
I think Bernthal's portrayal in the second season of Daredevil, in his own show, it was too much. Like, they had to kind of catch him up with the times. Like, he's kind of an old-fashioned character in that sense, you know, this masculine overlord, and it's all about violence. They had to make him a little bit more in touch, you know, and communicate better and be more in his feelings and all the stuff that happens with Microchip in that first series and whatever. But that season of Daredevil that he comes into, he just fucking completely blows the status quo apart. And then, you know, he gets that beautiful soliloquy at the end before he ends up in prison. You know, you kind of feel for him. But in terms of an overall view of Frank, it's probably the Thomas Jane character, just because it's so singular and it's such a different version. And it's like we were talking about Superman, you know, you can have all different types. You can have ones that are like really cartoony and over the top, and you can have one that's silly, and you can have one that's really earnest, like Superman 78, and you can have one that's sort of huge and operatic, like Man of Steel. Like, they can be all different things. You can have a Punisher that's really, really traditional and is played by John Bernthal and is hyper violent, but also has not as toxically masculine as the character has been in the past. Or you can have a version that's, you know, family gets killed in Puerto Rico and then he has to go after one particular family to kill them all. Like, it's not just about him being this vigilante. It's about him taking out systematically this one group by fucking with them all, really. Like, he makes them all, you know, believe that they're doing things they're not and killing each other. And it's real fucking cool that, you know, and they can both exist in the Punisher lore, and you can like both of them for different reasons. Like, all this sort of this flag waving shit that people do with this. Oh, it's not my Batman. Well, fucking your Batman still exists over there, dickhole. Like, you know, it was like I said to you the other day, I watched BVS again after Man of Steel, because I was in the Vogue, you know, in the Vogue. I was in the vibe of it. Ben Affleck's fucking fantastic in that. It's a great Batman. It's not one we've ever seen before. It's not the Dark Knight, and it's not like the Michael Keaton version or whatever. It's this thing. It's this specific thing, and that's okay. That can be that. And then all of a sudden, Pattinson comes along and he's fucking Nirvana, and it's you know what I mean? Like, it's cool. It's cool to have lots of different stuff, lots of different things. All the other iterations in comic books haven't been the same. Kingdom Come isn't the same Superman that's in John Byrne's Man of Steel when they rebooted it after the Crisis event. Like,
well, also Kingdom Come is a completely different Elseworld story. Like, you can't, like, if you genuinely have to adapt Kingdom Come, you need at least 10 years of actual storytelling for that to be, and then you have to have a 20 to like a 15 to 20 year jump, where then you find what, like, you know, because he's like, Tracker's left. So, like, Superman's gone. Nobody's seen him. Like, they're all franchised, and they're all like, it's all of it is a mockery. And then they all come back and save everybody. And you realize that we've mocked them for so long, we forgot that they were real.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. But I mean, that sort of seems to be what they're doing with the James Gunniverse. It's happening. It's coming. You can't stop it. I did see that interview with the young kid the other day, the corn sweat guy. And he seems to get it, you know, the idea of the costume, people thinking it's silly, and the trunks being on the outside and that being silly. But it's about making people and kids feel, they see that and they're like, oh, that's not threatening at all, you know?
Yeah.
And it's the converse is Batman. He's meant to look like that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Anyway, we'll talk a bit more about Superman shortly. But first, do you want to do some Oh, you got something?
I got something. I completely forgot, but I have to say it because it's just so good.
Something you watched?
Yeah, something I watched. So, like, the last 3 episodes of Ironheart dropped on Disney Plus, like, last week. And
yeah, right.
I completed that series. It is generally one of the best MCU written series of all time.
Awesome.
Like,
that's
I'm
great.
Not including the first 3 seasons of Daredevil. Like, that's different. That's peak. But, like, imagine how well season 1 of Loki was written. Just how much flow and how much care was put in for WandaVision. It resembles that, of all things. And it plays with the idea of, would Tony Stark still be Tony Stark if he wasn't that rich? This is a world where they worship that guy because he saved the world multiple times. But if he didn't have that status, would he still be Tony Stark? The one thing I really love about Ironheart is that it's not an origin story. it has ties to her origin for sure, but it's not her origin story. It's just her being in this moral dilemma for 6 episodes that will end up changing her life. And I'm so excited to see what they do. And I hope that the cancellation of Strange Academy wasn't real, because there are setups here that work so well. If they have like a Strange Academy show that's like a sitcom, or like a show that you don't need a lot of homework for, and you can come back year after year and just like pump out 10 episodes, it would really be great.
Well, I'm going to have to check it out. I do understand that a bit of a spoiler. There's I won't say, but a very particular villain that everybody's been waiting for is revealed.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. So I'll go and have a look at it. But speaking of all that stuff, speaking of all the Marvel stuff, let's do the nerd news.
Also, this is not like alcohol, it's fucking iced tea.
No judgment, man. You can drink human piss. I don't care. Granny's peach tea.
That's what the Man of Steel is.
That's where you just drink a cup of piss. That's not Man of Steel at all. No.
It's Henry Cavill, the god himself, peeing into a steel tube that goes into my body.
We have a winner, everybody.
People might watch this, man. What the fuck?
Hey, if you're worried about that, let's go back and delete almost 4 seasons of shit, because that's the fucking tip of the iceberg. Just the tip.
Is it a pink one or a green one?
It's a pink one. We discussed this.
But in a green
what we
wrapper?
haven't discussed. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like all good cocks. All right. Okay. Here we go. The nerd news, everybody. John Malkovich has reportedly been completely cut from Fantastic Four. That's news to me that he was in the motherfucker. Like
he's in the first trailer, like the first teaser of it.
As who?
Yeah, well, I think that's why they didn't like show him more, because I think they reworked some stuff.
Right.
And I have a theory. He's Nathaniel Richards from the future.
Oh,
I think that's why they're not showing it, because all of the marketing now is this is a family and they're welcoming a new member because she's pregnant.
I was just surprised. I didn't even know that he was in it. I'm trying to sort of steer clear of trailers at the moment. They keep showing me Superman. Like every time I turn around, there's a new clip out. Just fucking wait. I want to see the movie. I don't want to see the movie, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Here's something I probably don't want to see either. Vin Diesel. You know the Vin Diesel?
Oh, I saw this. Yeah.
Vin Diesel.
Shut the fuck up.
The Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel says that the final Fast and Furious film will be grounded and focus on street racing again, because I don't know if you know this, that series became full-on fucking science fiction. Like there is in the Hobbs and Shaw film, the Idris Elba character is a fucking super soldier, and I'm not kidding.
He's a fucking Superman, because they call him that.
He's the Black Superman. I know. Fucking whack. I just think it's funny that Vin's like, yeah, we're going to get back to doing the. That's him getting like really tired from all of the fucking steroids. No, I just think it's just funny, like, because that show started, like, the first Fast and the Furious film is basically Point Break, but with cars, and they're fucking robbing, like, moving vehicles, like, pulling over trucks that are hauling shit across country and stealing DVDs and stereo systems and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, in number 8, they're in space. It's like one of the only progression that happens that quickly in a film series like that is like Jason X. You know, like the Friday the 13th movies went from the mum being the killer because her fucking kid was drowned because the people weren't looking after the kid, they were fucking in the tents, to that guy's in space. Like it's such a huge leap. I just can't get over it. You know, because what's her name? Mother Voorhees, whatever her name is, I can't remember, Vivian or fucking whoever. She's the killer in the first one. Right. And Jason then, comes back in the second one. He doesn't even get the hockey mask until the third one, I don't think. And then he becomes a zombie. And then he takes Manhattan, which was actually Toronto. And then he fucking fights Freddy. And then he ends up in space. So all started because he with his mum in a sweater. Like, it was just fucking crazy. And that's the Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah, that is true. And they end up in space with an airplane engine, of all things, attached on a pickup truck.
Yeah.
When you said she was mad because a kid drowned because they were fucking intense, I thought something so disgusting.
Come on. I can cut it out if it's too bad. I need to know.
No.
Why not? Yeah, but Henry Cavill pissing in you.
That's me. I can get that. Nobody knows what I look like. Unless the 5 fuckers who do.
Yes, they do. Absolutely they do.
Oh, no, they do, because you put me on the fucking pirate thing.
And you're a pirate. You got a monkey on your shoulder. Arr. I like to drink piss. Sorry. Fuck. So, no, tell me what you think was, because if it's too bad, I'll just cut it out.
I thought you were saying that the mom was mad because they were fucking the kid.
I'm leaving that in.
No! Don't.
Well, I mean, she would be understandably mad. You can't.
Yeah, but that's not what you said, though. That's not what you said. You just said she was mad that they weren't taking care of the kid because they were fucking in the tent. But I just misheard shit.
That's great. I love it. That's even funnier. Let's leave it.
That's not the entire announcement, though. That Dom would be reunited with Brian.
Who's dead?
No, he's not dead.
I'm pretty sure Paul Walker's dead.
Paul Walker is dead, for sure. But who's telling Vin Diesel not to use AI? And it will be the death of all of us.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to happen. It's going to fucking happen. It just, yeah.
And if the Clayface movie works...
No comment. I don't care. Like, I have no skin in the game as far as those movies are concerned, so fuck it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Bring him back from the dead. They seem quite happy to do it with everybody else. The Flash.
It feels so soulless. I
completely agree. That is the word. It's soulless. There's no. If you remove the humanity from art, it's not art anymore. It's just they talk about the AI produced art. It's not you've got to get the word produced out of it. It doesn't produce shit. It reproduces stuff based on information that is stolen from other places, which includes other artists' work, writings, the history of art itself, and people's faces. Every time you AI generate something to be a poster for whatever it is that you're doing, and you use AI to do that and give it information, it will take imagery from the global source that is the internet, and which can be people's visages and whatever, and reproduce them without their consent. It's plagiarism at best, and you can get fucked.
Yes.
Especially as a writer, like people who use AI technology to generate writing. Like if you use it to do spell check or whatever, or, add something to whatever, I don't know. I would not do that, but I get it. But if you use AI to generate, in quotation marks, original scripted material, you're a fucking slave, and you have no idea of what the process is to be an artist. To be an artist is grind, and you got to go in and pull something out human. You can't do that with a fucking program. Anyway, we're going to file this one under no shit, which is my favorite category. Sony cancels all plans for their live-action Spider-Man spin-offs, including the Null film. Oh, no. No Null?
It was so forgettable they had to put him in the trailers a week before the film came out.
We better get people going. Null's coming. Who? Who?
Who the fuck cares?
What are you talking about? Why don't you put Spider-Man in your Spider-Man adjacent movie, you fucking idiots? Like, you got the thing. You can have him in there. I
don't understand why they just didn't do that, because they would have made so much more money. Like they would have.
If you'd have put Spider-Man in the end of that, yeah. Like even if they didn't tell anyone and did it the way that they did, tried to keep it a secret the way they did for No Way Home, And then everyone was like, do you know Spider-Man turns up in that shit for the final act? People they'd be sucking each other off to get to the cinema.
Like, the only film that works better because Spider-Man isn't in it is Morbius, and that's the best one of the bunch.
It is. It's probably better than some Spider-Man movies that have been made. Ooh, that's a hot take. Morbius is better than Spider-Man 3.
Morbius is better. I would argue Morbius is better than Far From Home.
Yeah, I tend to agree. It's more interesting to me, that's for sure. That one's bogged down in post-Endgame shit real bad, and it's troublesome.
Morbius is better than the entirety of the X-Men films. When that happens, and if I say that, I'm AI. Shoot me in the fucking head.
I would disconnect immediately. That's amazing. It'd be fucking weird if you'd been AI this whole time and you'd catfished me and you're actually like a 13-year-old Swedish girl. Oh, I'm making you think I'm a something, I'm a not. Sorry, that's Italian.
What the fuck?
How would she sound if she was a Swede? I'm from Sweden. My name's Eddie. I can't do it. I can't do Swiss. Oh, fuck it.
It's Tony Soprano trying to be Swiss.
Tony Soprano. Tony Soprano is sort of... he's New Jersey. I can't do New Jersey either. Some of the costumes worn by extras in the film Sinners were originally made for the Blade movie.
I don't buy that for like a second, man.
You don't reckon?
No.
Oh, I'm so naive. I believe everything the internet tells me. The idea of a period Blade film just fills me with joy. I love the idea of them doing it in that time period, because not only would Blade's race have more meaning at that time, like if you had a vampire hunter, an immortal vampire hunter, trying to do that while dealing with fucking Jim Crow and segregation and you know, like all that stuff, like maybe sort of be after that, you know, but yeah, I just think it would be really interesting. Late 1800s, maybe. All the people around him are slaves. Like, there's just something really interesting about setting that film in a period where an African American would be. I mean, I know that racism is systemic, and it's in a lot of ways it's worse now because it's more hidden in some places, but in some places not as well, I guess. But that back then it was like there were laws against them being who they were. That's a much more interesting story than setting it modern and just having him fight vampires. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was the pitch. I think that's far they went. Like, that's how far it went. But there's no like proof of any of it, and it's just fucking noise. And I get really pissed. That's
totally fair. And speaking of getting pissed or pissed on, it's Man of Steel.
You have to come up with your own shit, man. No, you have to, because this can't be it.
No, I'll come up with one, but it just was a good segue. That's all. We're talking about Man of Steel.
Okay.
It's from
2013.
2013. Thank you very much. Directed by Zack Snyder. Hot off the exceptional work he did on Watchmen. See our episode on that shit. And 300 also. We haven't done an episode on that, but written by David Goyer, produced by Christopher Nolan. We thought we'd come back to this because it is, it's like Addy said to me today, it's not a perfect movie, but I think it's really misunderstood, especially now, because it was like I was saying to you, the collective idea of what this movie is and all of the Snyder directed DC pictures and the aesthetic that he set up, there's so much negativity around the whole series that people just live into the stereotype of hating it or finding it without meaning or merit because it's what they've gleaned based on other sources and on the successes of other things outside of it. Like the DCU Snyderverse was a failure. Like it didn't work. But I don't think it is a failure in terms of its strengths movie to movie. It just didn't hit. Does it have anything to do with what happened in Justice League? Probably. Does it have anything to do with the online campaign for the Zack Snyder's Justice League? Probably. Does it have anything to do with COVID? Yes. There's lots of different reasons why this didn't work, and why they've now recalibrated and we're getting James Gunn's Superman. Watching this movie as an artifact, it's a lot more. It's a lot cleaner. and more hopeful, and the messaging is of Superman it's coming from Goya more than it's coming from Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder has his style and his feel, and he wanted to shoot it all handheld. And he said to Christopher Nolan when he met with him about being the director for the picture, because Chris came on as producer, him and Goya were stuck on writing Dark Knight Rises. They had a third act problem they couldn't solve, and Nolan said, you know what, let's just take a week and we'll come back and see where we're at. During that week, Goya reread a whole bunch of Superman books and came up with an idea for a Superman pitch. And when Nolan came back and said, okay, well, did you solve that third act problem? He said, no, but I've got an idea for Superman. And as David Goyer says, Christopher Nolan loves to procrastinate too. He said, all right, well, tell it to me. And he said, basically, it's the idea of him being an alien, and that regardless of powers, it would still be the biggest thing to happen in human history if an alien was found on planet Earth. And that was the pitch. And Nolan said, all right, I'll produce it for you, and let's go to WB and we'll pitch it. And that's kind of how it all happened. They auditioned a lot of different directors. You know, Matthew Vaughn was in the mix at one point. Tony Scott almost did it. But Zack, his pitch was, it's going to be the most realistic movie I've ever done. And that was kind of the thing. And if you watch it with that in mind, it really, you can feel that a lot. You know, he shot all single camera, handheld, on film. The guy's a technician, absolutely. But there is a heart to this movie that people miss.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, going back to it, it's just go back and watch the film and you'll realize that all of it is just noise. Because it doesn't, there's no setup for anything. There's no post-credit scene teasing Batman or Doomsday or whatever. And you will, in the follow-up to this, you will see when a studio tries to do that and how horribly that fails. It's hard for me to ever understand the criticism of this film not having a message of hope, because it filled me with hope when I watched it when I was 10 years old. Yes, it has flaws, and I love it because of those as well. I think the smartest decision this film makes is to put Superman in the world where everybody has the mentality of Lex Luthor. So by the time you meet him, he's not as different as you would want him to be. Because everybody he's ever met on Earth that's known him for being an alien has always hated him. It's only Lois that believes in him, right? And he thanks her in this. Thank you for believing in me, because nobody else did. His dad didn't believe in the world accepting him, and he genuinely, so much so
he sacrificed his life.
Yes,
to maintain that secret.
Absolutely, and he genuinely goes up to Zod thinking that he will leave Earth alone if he just surrenders. And he sacrifices himself for a planet that will hate him no matter what. And it's so interesting that now we live in a time where people will always hate Man of Steel no matter what.
Yeah, especially if this next one does well. You've got the Superman and Lois series as well that people really attach to. But again, it's okay that there can be these different things. And it does what it wants to do, the Man of Steel. It executes in the way that it wants to execute. It was trying to do something different. And I think you said it best when we were chatting. It's an origin story of the myth of Superman. It's not a Superman origin story. It's you kind of get the Kryptonian stuff and all that, but he gets, sent here and all the stuff that you normally see in a Superman movie. But the journeyman idea of it, this mystery figure who has these powers but has to save people incognito and not be the symbol that he ends up becoming because he's been instilled with this fear, and then overcoming that. And by the end of it, he's standing in front of a general saying, I'm here to help. I think that's kind of the portion of the film before he gets in the suit is just as long as in Batman Begins. Bruce doesn't become Batman until the very end of that movie. He's in the costume and everything, but the myth, the icon that is, the legend that is Batman, isn't birthed until The Dark Knight, when he's fighting the Joker and he's in league with the cops and they've got the floodlight on the top of the city. This movie doesn't actually call him Superman until almost the middle of the third act. Like it's the origin story. It's Clark's origin story. He doesn't get the glasses. He doesn't get the job. Like the very, very final scene of her saying, "Welcome to the planet," when he ends up getting the job and he's like, "Glad to be here." That would have set up a really great because we're going to do Man of Steel, Superman, and then Man of Tomorrow. They were going to do like a trilogy, was my understanding. Is that right?
Yeah, yes, that's exactly what it was. And Man of Tomorrow would have been what I bet this new Superman film is where it wouldn't have had intergalactic villains and everything, and it would just be a Superman story. And his biggest problem or like obstacle in that film would have been to sustain his job and to be Superman. I'm gonna say it because it's my podcast. I still feel robbed of that, especially now, like looking back and just seeing how Henry Cavill is great in this. He is so good at just embodying, because he embodies Superman in a way that wasn't done before. And I feel like with every new Superman film, it's always the previous Superman who's better until the film is successful. And then it's always, oh, we always loved him. Like Henry Cavill's Superman is stuck in this limbo where the people who love him are always seen as Snyder cultist, and I'm not. I don't like BVS. Like even I have my issues with it, but I can see what they were going for. But it's not like I'm not trying to overly, like I'm not so aggressive in my opinion that I will not accept anything else.
Yeah, of course, because you're not a fucking mad person. Like there are people out there who are militant about it, about anything that they love, and understand that this has to be. I remember when the Snyder Cut came out and they did a sort of like a 3-episode overview of it on We Hate Movies, and they were talking about how there's been people online saying,
"Restore the Snyderverse." Don't let people jump on the band. No. Well, yeah, there was that, but it was more that like they were like, don't let people fucking jump on our bandwagon. Like we made this happen. But I'm like, well, hang on. Do you want everyone to be on your side or not? Like, yeah, people just need the fight, and these things don't exist on a timeline together. You know, none of these things are in continuity with each other. Like in terms of the way that we view them, I don't mean the movie's being connected. I mean, Superman 1978 is on my timeline because that's where it started for me, and it's always going to be that. And I will always like that one more. It's not better than or worse than anything else. It's just my one. But I understand the importance for this particular story and to get told again and again and again, because it's Superman. But that doesn't take anything away from anywhere else, or it doesn't. And having new ones doesn't take anything away from me. Like I don't think that I will really like this new James Gunn one. Like I'm positive about it. I'm going to go and see it next week, and we're going to do an episode on it, and I'm excited to see it. But I know that it's never going to feel the way that 78 feels, and that's okay. It doesn't take anything away from it, because for some kid it's going to be their 78. You know. The cyclical nature of this thing and this strange branding that we do of ourselves, you know, like as soon as you start having beliefs, you're fucked. You're completely fucked. No, I'm serious, man. Like, so true.
It boils down to something as simple as this. Like if you believe that the Henry Cavill Superman is the only Superman there should ever be, and he's the peak, and everything else is shit. What a joyless way to live, because beliefs can't change. What is better is to have an idea, because an idea can change based on new information. So if you go, oh, Snyderverse is the only verse for me and fuck all that other shit, but, you know, I'll go and see this new James Gunn Superman movie because I like Superman, you know, or that I'm interested to see, or at best, you know, in the most negative, I want to go and see it so I can make fun of it. And you go there and it blows your fucking tits right off. Like, how much more joyful are you going to be because of that, you know? Because it was an idea that you had, not a belief. And if there's anything that this film teaches us, is that the only beliefs that you should have are altruistic beliefs and beliefs in each other and stuff like that. Like, but when it comes to this stuff, and it gets real muddy around about now, you know, as in terms of the timeline, because, you know, Superman happens the same year as Avengers, and then after the Avengers comes out, everybody's fucking like, all right, we all need one of these.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, Like, I remember there was so much discourse about the destruction of cities and everything in Man of Steel. And then, and like, people hated it. People hated Man of Steel for not dealing with that. And then when they did deal with that in BVS, it was like, well, why are you dealing with that? Well, fucking, like, Captain America Civil War came out the same year, did the exact same shit.
Yeah,
and nobody
exactly.
said a thing. I feel like people misjudge this film in what they want this Superman to be and how they present the Superman, because it is very much like an origin story of the idea of Superman. Because for Kal-El, and for Clark Kent, he, for the first time in his life, has been told that you are the symbol of hope, that you come from a symbol of hope. You can be that symbol of hope for these people. And then by the end of it, he will become that hope that save. Like, he has to destroy the ship that he came to this planet to save this planet.
He has to kill the only living member of his race left outside of himself. Like, I know a lot of people have a problem with that because Superman doesn't kill. This one does. This Superman has to kill that guy and save an unknown family of human beings because he identifies as a human being more than he identifies as a Krypton. Krypton had its chance. You know, I'm not advocating like cold-blooded murder.
Yeah.
He does it for a reason. Zod is going to kill those people, and you know, what choice would you make? Gun to your head. Like, let's be honest with each other, people. If you had Superman powers, but this version does do that, and Zach's argument's pretty good. Like, this was the moment that he said, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
It's the same as in Batman Begins, where he goes into the club with a gun. Where he goes into the courtroom with the gun to kill Joe Chill, and someone else does it first. And then he pitches that gun into a river and goes and trains for 7 years to become, you know, a person who doesn't need a weapon, who is a weapon. Like, why is one okay and not the other? I don't get it.
Yeah, exactly. But I think Man of Steel is the epitome of people not getting the point. Because
especially in pop culture, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and like, because Superman doesn't kill, yes, but he has to kill Zod for him to become the Superman who doesn't kill. He has to do that to be the Superman that we know. And like, that's the story. It's not Superman saving the cat, because he isn't Superman until the end. Man, this is weird, but I love how real it feels. Like, I know, like, the biggest thing with Christopher Nolan producing this was that it would take the same ideas that were used to make Batman realistic in Christopher Nolan's trilogy, and it would be in the same sort of tone. I think you can see that tone a lot with Zod. There is nothing gritty and dark about the portrayal of Clark Kent or Superman in this film.
They make that change in BVS, obviously, but yeah, in this one, I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, he is the light when the rest of the movie's dark. You know,
they have to change that for BVS, obviously, because their Batman is that way. Like, their Batman is ultra dark and ultra gritty because we'll talk about Ben Affleck for a bit, because it's all there. I think I'm just pissed off by people not even trying to understand what the film is trying to be. This was the second attempt at a DC universe, because Green Lantern failed. And just starting and then giving the ropes to Zack Snyder, making Man of Steel. Sure, the message isn't like hope and prosperity all in your face. It's not oversaturated. The suit's yellow is so muted that you can barely see it. But there is a point to it. And the point is that he is in this world that is so dark and so muted. But regardless of that, he is the light. He can't not help people. I don't think any other thing can say that this is Superman, because he can't not help people.
What else is he going to do? You know, there is an interesting argument to be made that the easy thing that they always do, which bothered me in BVS, is what if that power went bad? What if it didn't? What if it was fucking good and truthful and pure and triumphant and didn't do that thing that we all do? Like, just because we're fallible doesn't mean he is. You know, like, it's Yeah, I think people miss it a lot because they see this gritty. And that's, you were saying before about it being realistic like the Nolan Batman films were. I make the argument that this film feels more realistic because the camera's right fucking there.
Yeah.
It's right there. It's incredibly shallow focus. He uses these beautiful lenses that are, old lenses that he loves using with high stop and, so that you've got that really shallow depth of field. And when he's flying through the air, you're right there with him, like when that fight's going on and Zod spins him around in the air and it like spins and spins and spins and spins. And then it's a close up of an eye and then he gets thrown into a building. Like I understand the battle fatigue that happens in that film. Like it's pretty crazy. And there's some really fucking tone deaf shit that happens towards the end, but just based on all of that sort of, 9/11 imagery and stuff. But yeah, like when he's fighting, you're on the ground with him. When they set up a location, whether it's, after he comes off the oil rig and, you see the seagulls flying and then you've got the washing on the line blowing in the wind and the water dripping into the bucket with the pegs, like, or the school where it's the pencils, and then him sitting at his desk and seeing through people and then sitting in that cupboard, like, and you see he just puts his hands down over his eyes. Like the camera's right there. There's an intimacy to that you can't get with sweeping dolly shots and cranes and all that stuff that Nolan typically uses. He's much of a traditionalist, whereas Zach likes to put the camera on his fucking shoulder and go. He's usually his own shooter and they kept giving him fucking DPs. And then eventually he was like, I'm shooting all my own shit now. He was the DP on both Army of Darkness and the Rebel Moon series. Whatever you think of those movies, they look gorgeous. He is a fantastic lensman and he goes through, we've said it before, and draws the entire movie. He storyboards the entire movie himself and it takes him months to do it. He even goes through them. If you watch the his watch along he did for Man of Steel and BVS, the extended cut, he shows you some of the stuff that he drew. He clearly gives a shit. So yeah, I think the reality of it being a story about a dude who can fly and intergalactic battles and, aliens coming down to Earth still feels more realistic than a dude dressing up as a bat in the way that happens. So yeah, that's it'll be interesting to see how it feels for James Gunn ones, because I feel like James Gunn one's going to be just a straight up comic book.
Yeah.
100%,
Yeah, like especially with,
which might be a nice change.
Yeah, absolutely. Like especially with the visual style that they're going with, comic accurate. It's a different story with Ben Affleck because they never got to tell it, but it's there. Yeah,
watching BVS again and seeing his portrayal, particularly of a very tired Bruce Wayne who continues to do this stuff because he has nothing else. And the fight with Superman is almost his fucking juice. He's like, this is what's keeping me going. And the whole Martha thing is like, whatever, it's kind of cute. But I think the real critical part of that is that, of course, a man who trained his entire life to be powerful would have a problem with a man who didn't earn it. Everything Bruce does is to be the absolute epitome of physical and mental perfection in order to be able to execute his job as Batman, right? Superman gets up in the morning and he has everything that he needs. He has all the power he could ever need to make all the difference. He could save 100,000 people in an instant, whereas Batman can, barely save the people he has in his own circle, Yep. Of course that's going to cause an issue, and I think people forget that. And his if you remove the vocal thing that changes it, his Batman's really good. That just annoys me. I'm like, just drop an octave and we get it. It's okay. The physicality of it is really great. Yeah, I know we're not talking about BBS, but yeah, it was a missed opportunity, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about Ben Affleck's Batman for a little bit, because I feel like it's at least we got a film with Henry Cavill, like a solo one, and to have gotten that Ben Affleck would have been great, because it would have told that story of a tired Batman, and I will never get tired of the concept that this Batman, this Bruce, is older than his father will ever be, and is tired, and he's a shell of a man, and the only thing that, like, the way that he's awakened and the way he is, that hope enters his life is when he sees the symbol of hope die. And while that arc is explored minimally, it is beautiful. It shows progress in a man that hasn't progressed for about 30 years.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. 20 years in Gotham, Alfred. We learn what promises are worth, how many good guys are left, how many stayed that way. Like, he is, if we think it's even a 1% chance that he could be our enemy, we have to take it as an absolute certainty. That is a person who does not get up in the morning with an idea that anything's going to get me better.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's the kind of the argument is that Superman is about things getting better and Batman is about making sure they don't get worse.
Oh my God, that's take all my money. That was fucking excellent.
Oh, thanks. That's I'm sure someone said something similar to that in the past. Grant Morrison said, interestingly, Superman fights the impossible and Batman fights death at every turn, you know? And I think that's pretty true.
Knowing that, like, eventually Snyder's second Justice League film would have been the Flashpoint story, because they were leading up to that. That's why there were the nightmare sequences in BVS, and that's why Flash was at the center of it. It would have been great because you would have seen a similarly tired, dying Batman with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and you would have related that to how we saw Ben Affleck first. But then we would have also gotten the arc of Ben Affleck's Batman being hopeful and, you know, trusting in the guy who just shows up in his underwear and saves the day.
Let's just talk about some things that we love about it. It doesn't have to be, you know, a list or anything, but just talk about, like, for me, I love the way that it looks. Before, like I was saying before, the cinematography is stunning. The aesthetic of it is really good. I like Zack's style because I myself grab a camera and I just fucking get stuff. Like, I love that kind of intimate shooting. What's something about it that kind of, you know, whenever you watch it, I mean, apart from the score, obviously, like, that's just...
Oh, that score cannot be beaten by anything except for The Lion King.
It is honestly one of the best scores of a movie ever.
It's so weird that when people talk about Hans Zimmer's music, this one is the most overlooked one. Because how can you fucking forget that Hans Zimmer scored a Superman film?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah, and I think because it doesn't have it doesn't hit the ear the same way the John Williams score does, like, but it's still really specific. But it's just this propulsiveness and this rising kind of feel that's it's the same as the what he did for Batman. It's that, you know, the journey theme becomes the hero theme. I love it so much. I bought it on CD back in the day. It's in this cool steel case. I love it. Anyway, sorry. So cinematography and score are two of my favorite things about it. What about you?
I love that we spent the first 20 minutes on Krypton, and to not make Krypton this weird crystally planet and to actually give it an ecosystem and to show it in its dying days is such a baller move, because you never go back to it. And you only have Gerard Butler for, like, the AI or like the ship AI for it, and then
Gerard Butler.
he loses that as well.
You mean Russell Crowe?
Oh my God.
You're transposing your Scottish and Australians there, and it's not going to work for you. Crikey. Russell Crowe's fucking fantastic as Jor-El. He's so good. That the Krypton sequences, I mean, fuck, I'd watch a movie that was just that. You know, I know they did a TV series, but he's particularly good. And the idea of the codex and that kind of that you are born into who you are and it's coded in your DNA. And then, you know, the film opens with the screaming mother of Lara Zor-El screaming, and the birth of hope, like the one child, Krypton's first natural birth in centuries, like, and then they have to put him in this thing and send him off to another world to save them, you know, like you can save them all. And people are like, oh my God, it starts with the pit woman scream. I'm like, are you getting the idea of what that means? Like that what birth is and what death is. And you know what I mean? Like there's a real powerful metaphor there.
They send him to Earth not only for him to save Earth, but for him to save their entire race and their planet. And I love that. I love the fact that Zod comes looking for the Codex, and it's not there because Kal-El is the Codex. He is Krypton, and that's like like that's when you know that you've gone too far, where you're just fucking tearing up shit because you can't realize that the one thing that you were looking for is a living, breathing thing and not something that you can steal.
Can we extract it from him without killing him? Don't worry about it. Just fucking kill him. Michael Shannon, I know that he, after he didn't have a great opinion of this film or being in the Flash or whatever the fuck, but, contractual obligations aside, he is spectacular as Zod. He has none of the charm that fucking Terrence Stamp had in Superman 2. He is a cult leader. Like he's a separatist and an insurgent, and he is dangerous. Like from jump, for the first time you see him, he walks in and murks one of these fucking, goblin-y looking ladies.
Council
and
members.
That's it. And then they put him in a big dildo and shoot him into space. I'm sorry, they are veiny cocks. Those things. they're the dildos that you can stick on a wall. The ones that have got a suction cup where the balls are. That's what those fucking things look like, and I will not be convinced of otherwise. And how could anybody not look? So many people had to go through the process of figuring out what those husks that send them into the Phantom Zone would look like, right? It would have had to be drafted first, so that's designers, right? And then no one said anything. Over the iterations, maybe we shouldn't go with the one that looks like a fucking veiny dick. And then they had to be models had to be made, and then they had to craft them whatever prop it was, and then they had to build him in CG and put him into there was so many steps where someone could go, just one the small thing. It's a really small thing. Those ships that send the Kryptonians into the Phantom Zone look like fucking cocks. They look like big dicks. Can we do something about it? Why can't it be a cylinder with it has a tip, and balls. I can't imagine what they were thinking. But anyway, that's one of my favorite things about the movie, that they're just we're in dicks, whatever.
And also, it's so weird because the Phantom Zone, you don't see it. You see, them getting teleported into it. And the teleporter is a cosmic vagina that
oh my God,
up.
it is too. Okay, that's not an accident then. It's not an accident. The cocks in the vagina thing, that's not a fucking thing. No,
it's
okay,
not.
yeah.
I think somebody did say that these look like dicks floating into space, and they're like, yeah, well, we already have the CG for the cosmic vaginas. We can't change this.
They had to reverse engineer the idea. It's fuck, we've got these veiny dicks. We've got this huge vagina, and now they look like dicks. Oh, well, we'll just keep moving forward, everybody. It's going to be fine. Yeah, I love that idea. I fucking love that idea. Oh, God. General Zod is a great character and, a real fall for Superman. It's something we hadn't seen before, since Superman 2. Superman Returns, he didn't even throw a punch. He was lifted a rock out of the earth and all that stuff. I like that movie, but it's, it doesn't have the kind of action that this has. Shannon's great. And for me, it's the bit where he's like, I was bred to be a warrior. Where did you train? On a farm? Fuck, that's gangster, man. And then they just trash each other for, 20 minutes along with the city. And it's only after they sort of crash the ship and Feora and that other big brute end up getting killed, a good death is its own reward kind of thing. And there's, Perry White and all his cohorts are stuck in the rebar and everything. And the place is covered in ash and soot. It's real 9/11-y. It was intense in terms of that imagery. And then they kind of fly down and he saves Lois, and then they have a kiss, surrounded by all this devastation and detritus and limbs and all sorts of stuff. Nah, that's... I know other We Hate Movies pointed this out as well, but I did think it at the time. That's tone deaf. Maybe don't have a pash. Maybe don't have a nearly hand job. Maybe don't have an almost Man of Steel. And when you hear my idea of what it's going to be,
what the fuck?
You'll know between that. It's
have the kiss when he's crying after killing Zod. That's a better way to have that.
Or have it be like, welcome to the planet. La, 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 la. I've got a big clit. I don't know. I don't know why.
What the fuck?
I don't know. I don't know why Lois has a big clit, but she does. And why would she tell him? Is it a warning? When you get down there, it's like an acorn. That's all I'm saying. Oh no. He's making out with her and she just tells him that, like, fucking hell, that's forward. Okay. Oh no. I've derailed it. We were getting so intimate. I loved it. Let's talk about Amy. It. It's not Amy. Is it Amy? Who is it?
Not after that,
help?
please.
Amy Adams. It is Amy Adams.
Amy Adams.
Academy Award nominated Amy Adams. She's great. I think their chemistry's a little off. But
it's better here than it is in fucking BVS, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. He is so sidelined in that film. Yeah, there's so little of him. Like, the only real moment of true sort of supermanness is the bit where he comes home and she's in the bath and she's like, you know, there's a cost to us here. What are you're trying so hard not to laugh, aren't you? She was in the bath. She kept floating to the top because her clip's so big. It kept it was bobbing out of the water.
It opens up and then Zod pops out and like, oh, okay.
That's the Phantom Zone, is Lois's clit. That's great. Oh. I don't think it's going to get any better than that. That's we've peaked, everybody. That's it. That's the end of the show forever. We can't do better than poor Lois in her fucking clit like a goddamn butcher's thumb. Okay. All right. Amy Adams is pretty great. She could use a bit more to do. I fucking love Lawrence Fishburne as Perry. I think he's so great. He's really he's particularly good in BVS, actually. Where does he go? Like, he's just so mad.
Clicks his heels and goes to, what did he say? He says clicks
goes
his
back to Kansas, I suppose. Yeah.
Goes back to Kansas, yeah. And then, like, the other one is, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, it's okay.
But the other one is Clark Kent enters the meeting and says, where are we reporting on the bad sightings? And he's like, oh, there's crime in Gotham. In other news, water, wet.
Wet, yeah. No one cares about Clark Kent taking on the Batman. Like, he's just, yeah, he did the reading, good old Lawrence Fishburne. I dig him a lot. Yeah, I mean, the cast works really well in Man of Steel. It's a bit long in places. I feel like you could pull some out of it, but I do like going back to seeing Clark as a kid.
Yes.
The flashback sequences are really good, saving the bus and getting beaten up. Those kids wanting to beat him up and him like just crushing the fucking gate behind him, trying to stop himself from hurting those kids. Like, the lessons that Jonathan taught him in the reverse work here, because in the other way, it's like, it's the Glenn Ford version. It's like, you have great power and I don't know why you have it, but you're here for a reason and all that stuff. The fear that Kevin Costner has teaches him lessons to not have that fear. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's when you look at your parents and realize that they can be wrong, which is not a lesson that Superman learned in the traditional story. It's like they had these great parents. I mean, Jonathan's still alive in the comics. Like, he didn't die. That's only ever happened in film continuity. So, yeah, I think that the idea that him figuring out that, you know, my father believed that if the world couldn't handle it if they knew about me. And eventually he has to go, well, it doesn't matter anymore because the stakes are too high for me to not. Yeah. And again, having that Lois there and seeing the way that people react to him, and despite the devastation and whatever, like that's in BVS when he's deified, you know, he goes to that place and he sort of stands up among all those people and they all reach out to touch him. And it's just like, that's what would happen. And it's almost the inverse of what his father was worried about, you know?
That scene is Superman to me. And I don't, because we've jumped from like big ships to talking about like how emotionally moving it is, but also just no, not the dick ships being emotionally
no, but that's our brand though. We're very, very sweet and sentimental about things, and then also big clits.
Yeah, but also I like that framing of the woman on her roof reaching towards Superman, and you just see his silhouette against the sun and the cave flowing in. That's Superman to me, because every time I imagine him, I've told you this before, like every time I imagine Superman, it's that, like it's Superman floating in the air watching over me. Like that's a real, you know, it's fucking, these characters matter. Superman of all people matters. Sorry. Because of not only his story of being an immigrant, but also being the one person who will always have the positive outlook. Like you can't always have a Batman. There is always an opposite, you know? I feel like we live in such a cynical and dark world that it's easy to forget that hope is a normal thing to have. It's hard when you realize that it has been ripped from you. And Superman, in its most simplest form of existence, has always been about looking up and having hope. You know, Jor-El says we'll look to the stars for hope. He sends his son. Irrespective of it being fiction, it's real because it matters.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the idea of heroes it's obviously important because our culture is obsessed with them. Whether it's this form or the heroes we see in each other, you know, the people who go out of their way and put themselves in danger to assist other people in whatever the circumstances is, whether you're a fireman or a lifeguard or a teacher or any of that stuff, like people who are brave, because not a lot of people are brave. A lot of people are cowardly, and they mask that with that insecurity, with negativity, or with guarded moxie and shit like that. And when they're tested, they're not there, you know. And then the people who are, like the people who shine, that's who you see, you know. And Superman is a version of that. You know, he was created by two poor Jewish kids, part of one of the most marginalized races in human history. And to see, I know they were treated terribly as well by DC, and even up to now, you know, there's still lawsuits going on, all that kind of stuff. Just as an artifact of these two gentlemen creating this character and what he means to people and how aspirational he is. And you sent me that video of the guy going around the world dressed as Superman, and he is the person dressed as Superman. He doesn't even have any powers or anything, like has such a huge effect on the populace. And it can't be denied that this character is going to be here long after we're all gone and this podcast is lost to the internet. It's always going to matter. Heroes are always going to be important because it gives us an ideal to strive towards. They make us better, and they make us more peaceful and braver and able to go that little bit further than you thought that you could. And I think that's really important. And if it's in a fucking silly movie or a dime store comic book, It doesn't matter. Like, as long as you get the message, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what the message is. Did you get it? And I think that's what Man of Steel is all about. So that's it, folks. The Man of Steel, or just Man of Steel, sorry. The Man of Steel is our sex move, which we'll talk about shortly. Give me like 2 or 3 of your favorite moments.
This is like, in hindsight, this is so cool. Because, and it's confirmed by Harry Lennox that when he was cast as John Jones. He was cast as Martian Manhunter. And to have the reveal in Justice League is insane. But to have the scene where he looks directly in his eyes while he's on the other side of the interrogation room is fucking incredible. Because they're accusing him of being an alien and then he's talking to Martian Manhunter. Yeah,
that one is benefits from having seen the Snyder cut of Justice League. Yeah, absolutely. I don't have them in order, just like in terms of a hierarchy, just things that did it. And one of my favorites is Where Did You Train on a Farm? Just fucking Shannon, man. He doesn't give a shit. He shirks off the armor and just flies. And Clark's like, fuck, it took me forever to learn how to do that. You can't. Like, just... I like that part a lot.
I love that, like, in that scene, he's also, like, he's not flying. Like, he takes off his armor and then he just hovers above the ground. And, like, Clark still hasn't been able to do that. And Zod has less time on Earth than Clark has. He's 33 in this film, which is insane. Like, Clark Kent is 33.
Jesus was when he was crucified.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. He goes into a church. He goes to a Christian church to seek guidance. You know, it's not a mistake.
Yeah.
What's another one for you?
This is like more of like just a story, like a storytelling trick that they do, which is his flashbacks are triggered by things he sees in real life. Like he sees the school bus, and then we see the flashback to like the school bus flashback where he saves it. And I love that, like, canonically, like after Jonathan dies, Clark goes on this journey of self-discovery and to find out who he is. And during that time period, he finds this Fortress of Solitude and, you know, gets lessons from Jor-El. And I love that we meet him during that, and like he returns and he tells his mom that I found my people.
She's a little wounded by it as well.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, you know, your father's gone. Now you've got a new family. I'm just, you know, here on the farm that's about to fucking foreclose. And I'm Diane Lane. I'm a fucking babe. She's a fucking babe. Even in the age makeup, it's an absolute yes.
Yeah.
That's the Man of Steel when you fuck Martha Kent. Not really.
I can't recover from that. Because when you said that, I envisioned Ben Affleck as Batman fucking Martha Kent, and that's so many levels of fucked up that I just fucking can't.
I love it. I love it. Getting busy.
What's another one for you?
What's that, Martha? Yeah, your son's dead. Wow, chicka, wow, wow. Another one for me. Fucking up that guy's truck. You fucking drunk asshole.
Like, hypothetically, how would you explain that to an insurance company? Other than it's an act of God?
Yeah, well, I mean, and even if you were to have some kind of inkling that the big dude that you tried to fucking start a fight with, I mean, that guy looked like a hobbit by comparison to Henry Cavill. Like, who the fuck did he think he was anyway? Like...
he shoves him and then stumbles back.
Yeah, he tries to push him. Like, what did you think was going to happen? And then you throw a can at the back of his head. Like, this guy could fold you in half like a fucking lawn chair, dude. Like,
and then crumble you into a ball.
So what's your number one then? What's your big moment?
It's when he takes his flight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The fist on the ground, and then the I guess it's the inertia or the adjustment of gravity that's going on, and the music as well. Like, especially when he breaks the sound barrier and is, you know, flying over the African continents, and the joy. It's epic. It's fucking epic.
It is epic, and like I love that there's no slow-mo here. and like instead of slow-mo, it's like snap cuts. So you just like you see him fly from his perspective, and then you see how it would actually look like, and it's hard to keep track. And I love that, like during the flight scene he's having fun, and then he turns the other way and he does the Christopher Reeve pose for a second, where it's one arm and one arm behind it. Oh man, it's Superman.
Yeah, I just love Welcome to the Planet. And the smile at the end, and all of a sudden that's it. That's the movie ends as he becomes all the things that he was meant to be, and it's a shame we didn't get a chance to see what Henry would ultimately end up going to do. But I'm enjoying his career nonetheless. So that's Man of Steel, everybody. Go and check it out if you haven't. I'm sure that you have, and maybe give it a reprisal. Take all that other shit out of your head and just watch it as an artifact, just a piece of cinema as it sits alone, and a version of Superman that hadn't been seen before. Maybe it'll spark something, or maybe it'll make you happy for 2.5 hours. Just that's enough. We're going to do some questions, but before we do that, the Man of Steel is where you fuck somebody standing perfectly straight with your legs apart and your hands on your hips, thrusting and thrusting. And when you come, you shout, "Candor!" And that's what happens. So that's my sex position. That's my Man of Steel sex position. But you have to do it with someone who's got a big clit. It's just... It's really important that one of the people during that the Man of Steel has big clit energy at least.
Oh fuck.
We're not going to get out of this one alive, man. So just fucking do it. Like we're testing the limits of our audience every episode, I think.
But you have to be careful.
Are you still there, anybody?
But you have to be careful because if you feel a bite, it might be Zod inside. So
that's true. Yeah, it might be tiny Zod in a big clit.
When you fuck somebody with a steel condom on. Clever.
That would be cold though. You'd have to warm it up first.
And then you hug the person you're fucking, and that's the Man of Steel.
It is. It's protecty, very protecty, but also fucking rock hard. Do we have any questions? Are they about this? Because it seems unlikely.
Yeah, 2 questions.
The double. Here we go.
That's the Man of Tomorrow.
That is the Man of Where Superman's powers advance so far, he grows a second dick. Someone's been at the red kryptonite again. He's got 2 cocks.
Question 1 comes from Chaz. Favorite scene in any movie that makes your panties moist?
Oh my good gravy. So does it have to be a sexy scene, or can it be like a scene that just you really love?
I guess it can be anything that you like anything that gets you going.
I'll do 2, like sexy scene and also just a scene that I love. The USS Indianapolis speech in Jaws is perfect, and I fucking love it every time.
I don't remember that.
Where Quint tells the story about being on the USS Indianapolis. Yeah, it's unbeatable. And in terms of sexy scenes, anything that happens in the film Secretary. It's a sexy picture. Oh, it's a sexy picture. You check it out. It's like light years ahead of its time. Really, really good.
In Zack Snyder's Justice League, it's when he takes the flight in the black suit, and it's the voiceover of Jonathan Kent and Jor-El, and it's changed. It's in the same vein in Man of Steel, but it's changed. It's both his fathers telling him to accept humanity and to give them a chance, and it's completely opposite of Jonathan Kent in Man of Steel. And then it ends with one of the most incredible line reads I've ever heard. Fly, my son, it's time. like as if it's time to become hope itself.
Yep.
And then he flies up and does the Jesus pose. Like, come on.
It could have been good.
Could have been. It was good.
I just mean further down the line, like other stuff in that vein. You know what I mean? So.
All right, next one is from Juan, the one and only.
Hi, Juan. Another one. Fucking DJ Khaled in the house. Oh, that's great. Oh, I hope you enjoy that one. That's my new favorite. Another one. Okay. It's nearly midnight here and I'm turning into the Joker quick before I fucking
I'm sorry.
Start dating a fucking woman who used to be a psychiatrist and now is a clown.
What character would you like to see Superman interact with that we haven't seen yet in a movie? My answer is same as what David Cornsweet said, but I'll let you go first.
I'm not sure what David Cornsweet said. Probably I would like to see him and Nightwing have a tete-a-tete. And villain, I want to see Brainiac in the movie. I'm
going to go with Dick Grayson for obvious reasons. And then this was I saw this, I saw Juan's question come in. And then I saw this reel where somebody asked David Cornsweet who would he like to interact with as Superman. And he said a bunch of characters, but...
Lois's clit.
He also said one of the Robins would be nice.
That's cool.
And then it reminded me of the post he sent me yesterday of like the snapshots of Superman up in the sky, where he talks about where like the girl is asking who's your favorite Robin, and he says all of them, and then he says the first one he's a close friend, and it's just. It means so much to me because Dick Grayson is the best DC character ever made because he is the greatest success of Batman and Superman and he embodies them both.
He's even named after Nightwing is even named after a superhero from Krypton.
Yeah.
That's where he gets his name after he quits being Robin. So yeah, that's a fucking great idea. Make it happen, James Gunn and the DCs. I'm sure that you will. Blessings, everybody. Happy Superman week. I hope you get out there and enjoy it any way you can, whether it's the new one or perhaps revisiting an old favorite like Man of Steel. Yeah, joyfulness and hope in particular are in short supply these days. We're all living in scary times, and sometimes it's hard to know what to do about that and what to make of the world. And for some reason, we tend to turn on each other when we're confused like that, which doesn't really make any sense. But in solidarity with the people in our communities and around the world dealing with all manner of strife, whether it be, political or religious or, just who we are as individuals, we've decided to change the ending of the show. Normally right now I would say, and remember, and Addie would say,
stay amazing and stay safe.
And then something pithy and something smart and something cute. But we decided to change things up a little bit, at least for the future times, until maybe things get a little bit better for everybody. We're going to change how we sign off. So we'd like to say, fuck hate.
Love wins.
Peace, everyone.